Hey guys, how's it going? So just a couple days ago, I did a video on HR 5717, terrible, worst ever gun control bill possible. But the main point of my video was that in times like these that are upon us right now, the anti-gunners, the anti-freedom, the people that want to fundamentally change this country and turn us into a socialist country, in my opinion, rather than this great republic, this great experiment on self-governance, individual liberties, of the people, by the people, for the people. During these times, they take advantage of the fact that people are scared, isolated, and they try to bring in more control. And 5717 is terrible, so I encourage you to stay on that. Go back and watch my video from a couple days ago if you didn't see it. But just as kind of I was predicting, there's more going on. And today I'm going to tell you about a couple things going on in North Carolina, which are very troubling, completely unconstitutional. And I'm going to be citing the Wake Weekly. This is a newspaper out of Wake County, North Carolina. And the title is pretty blunt. Wake Sheriff suspends pistol permits, saying it received too many applications. So this is coming here. It says from staff reports out of Raleigh. The Wake County Sheriff's Office is temporarily suspending the purchase of pistol permits through April 30th, saying it needs time to process a surge of new applications. This decision does not limit anyone's right to purchase a handgun, said Wake County Sheriff Gerald Barker in a statement. Over the past several weeks, our staff has been inundated with high volumes of permit applications that has made it impossible to process by law. And then it goes on further to say, as of Tuesday, there were 775 applications pending, according to the Sheriff's Office press release. State law requires the sheriff to decide whether to issue a permit within 14 days of receiving an application. So the spirit of the state law is you can't just delay people into perpetuity, because that becomes a de facto ban, right? Well, the Wake County clerk of the court is saying that they're required to make a background check, and that the clerk's office does not have enough staff to keep up. And here's another statement from the sheriff. He says, this decision is not a violation of anyone's Second Amendment rights. Most importantly, this action will limit persons encountering one another during this time of state of emergency, consistent with Governor Roy Cooper's executive orders and that of Wake County Commissioner Greg Ford. The sheriff couldn't be any more wrong. This obviously violates the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment simply states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And that wasn't just put there optionally. That wasn't put there for convenience. No, that was put there because liberty is not free and freedom is not free. And we have to fight every day to keep our liberty and our God-given rights and to protect our family, our friends, our neighbors, and probably most importantly, our country from enemies, both foreign and domestic. And especially if people are sick, especially if there's looting going on, especially if there's times of uneasiness, potential mass chaos, things that so many people are afraid of, that's especially when the Second Amendment's needed. There was no clause or comma in the Second Amendment that says unless people are sick, unless people are scared, unless people have lost their jobs and need to hold on to their food and they're worried someone's going to come steal their food. It doesn't say that, does it? Of course not. Because as the Constitution and Founding Fathers realized and acknowledged, these are God-given rights. They were endowed upon us by our Creator. They weren't given to us by a government man. No, this is way over a government man's pay grade. These rights were given to us by God, and therefore they can only be taken from us when we leave this earth, and we no longer need rights on this earth. There's nothing that allows any type of sheriff, county commissioner, governor to suspend our Second Amendment rights when in fact we need them the most. And it's basically saying, yeah, they're backlogged. And here's another quote from the sheriff stating that with 290 people coming into the permits office per day, the sheriff's office would not be able to meet the 14-day requirement. I've got a simple solution. First of all, permits. Any type of permit, any type of fee. That's the same thing as a poll tax. See, they've often said, the courts have, that you can't tax people to vote. Well, guess what? Voting, core fundamental constitutional right. Probably just as important as the Second Amendment, but not any more important. How can you tax the Second Amendment to begin with? See, me, with this crisis we're in right now, the way I look at it is, this just proves how unconstitutional these permits, fees that you have to pay, permission slips, mother may I, asking the nanny state if you could please have permission to exercise your God-given rights, they've been unconstitutional the whole time. We've never needed a permit. Our only permit is given to us by our Creator and simply acknowledged in the Constitution and in the Second Amendment. See, the Second Amendment never gave us any rights. It simply states, shall not be infringed. It's a strict prohibition from the government, not only doing what this sheriff's department's doing now, which is saying no permit, but it actually forbids them from ever having permits to begin with. Constitutional carry. This is why we need constitutional carry in the whole United States. For some reason, we haven't been able to get it done. We had a Republican president, a Republican House, and a Republican Senate just a couple years ago. We should have been able to order pro-gun bills off of a menu, like the drive-thru at Taco Bell, right? Extra sour cream, no guac, extra cheese. We should have been able to order it exactly how we wanted it, but it didn't happen. And I don't know how much more we're going to have to go through this before people finally just get united in the gun community and realize, no, enough's enough. We shouldn't need a permission slip. We shouldn't have needed these permits to begin with. We don't need them. We don't need the government's permission. In fact, the government answers to us, works for us. We pay their salaries, right? So this is complete and utter BS. And what's going on right now goes back to the classic saying that I firmly believe in. A right delayed is a right denied. Tell the single mother that's trying to buy the .38 special revolver that she's going to try to protect her young children with, the elderly, even the able-bodied people like me. We all need to protect ourselves. This is a fundamentally God-given right acknowledged by our founding fathers that we have this need to defend ourselves, our families, and first and foremost, this great nation. And they're going to delay these rights. April 30th? No. Somebody breaks into that single mother's house tonight or your grandparents' house tonight and they couldn't get their purchase permit. Guess what? There could be a loss of a good life. There could be irreparable harm and damage. Bad people are out there exploiting these times we're in right now. Many police stations and sheriff's departments are making statements that they're not even responding to normal calls for public assistance. So there you go. And I think this is completely and utterly illegal. I would note there is some pushback. I'm going to do another quote here from a couple Republicans in North Carolina. People are already suspicious and on edge. It's reckless to illegally suspend their Second Amendment rights just when they need assurance that they can trust government, wrote Senators Warren Daniel, Republican of Burke, and Danny Britt, Republican of Robeson, in a joint statement. So I wish you guys in North Carolina and other places across the country the best of luck. We saw this happen in Katrina, where governors came in, mayors came in and said, we're going to take the guns, we're going to make it illegal to buy. Looks like they're restricting people's rights here in North Carolina. And I would note one more time, as they have been this whole time, by even having permits and fees that you have to pay. This is a poll tax. This is illegal. And this should be enough to hopefully kick us all in the butt to get involved. Throw these people out of office. Kick them to the curb. Say, no, we're not going to tolerate it anymore. And I would never encourage anyone to break the law. But you know what? If you need a gun right now, do what you have to do. You have to protect your family. You have to protect yourselves. That permit is going to come and go. But if there's trouble that comes in the middle of the night, tonight in North Carolina, you're going to have to protect yourself and protect your family. And if the bad guy's coming in with a gun, what are you going to do with a broomstick or a sharp stick in the eye? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't cut it. Now, one more thing. There's always a little more, right? Because it's never enough. It's never going to be enough until we kick them all out or until they take every last right that we have and make us just like the rest of the world. Socialism, places like that where you have no God-given rights. You're just a puppet of the state. So, like I said, there's more. In a similar move, the Guilford County Sheriff's Office announced it would pause the processing of concealed carry permits and is issuing pistol permits only through the mail. So there you go. Right delayed is a right denied. No more concealed pistol permits. You shouldn't have to have a permit to carry a pistol. Because here's how I look at it. Yeah, background check, whatever. I think the whole Brady bill is unconstitutional too. Because here's how I look at this. And I could talk about this for 2 hours. And this video is already going long. But here's the deal. Okay? Background check. You know what? I don't think that's reasonable. Many pro-gun owners say, well, that's reasonable. No, it's not actually. Background checks, NICS checks, 4473 forms, purchase permits, concealed carry permits with fees. These are poll taxes, if you will. These are highly unconstitutional. Because here's how I look at it. First of all, First of all, these only affect the law-abiding, because a criminal doesn't follow the law. And if there's a law that says they can't buy a gun without a permit and they intend to do somebody great bodily harm, they're not going to follow the law of the paperwork. They don't care about paperwork crimes, first and foremost. But here's the most important part, okay? In my opinion, somebody that's so dangerous that should not be able to touch a firearm, should not be able to be in possession, should not be able to be near one. If this person is truly that dangerous, which there are people that aren't wired right that are that dangerous. I acknowledge it. Why the heck are they allowed to roam freely on the streets? Because as we know, there's more people that are killed each year with hands and feet than they are with these types of weapons that they want to ban. We know that there's more people that die in car accidents than with rifles. So you know what? If somebody's so dangerous that you're almost certain that if they were to get near a gun, they would harm somebody, kill somebody, or otherwise, why the heck are they allowed to be freely on the street? But if somebody broke the law, okay, and they did their time, or they were truly reformed, or if they weren't a bad person and they just messed up, maybe a paperwork error, maybe other things that really, in my opinion, aren't that big of a deal, why the heck can't they have a firearm? You know what? I don't talk about this too often, but this whole thing where, felons can't have firearms. Again, this takes me a couple hours to completely go through the semantics of it, but I'm just going to put it out there bluntly one more time. If somebody's too dangerous to own a firearm, they should not be allowed to be among us, okay? There's people who have a criminal record who aren't necessarily bad people at all, okay? There's literally thousands of paperwork errors people can do to become a felon. There's people that literally didn't even hurt anybody that became a felon, okay? These aren't all just like, they killed 35 people type of felons, okay, that are out there. By the way, if they killed 35 people, why the heck are they allowed on the streets again? If in cold blood they killed one person intentionally, why are they allowed out on the streets again? So that's how I look at it. If you're allowed to be on the streets, you should be able to own a firearm because you still have those rights. And the Constitution doesn't say the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, asterisk, unless they have a criminal record. It actually doesn't say that at all. Now, I know I'm going to get some backlash for this. I'll probably get some thumbs downs, but you know what? I get thumbs downs anyways just because, whatever, people get jealous. It doesn't even matter why. But that's kind of how I look at it, okay? So I don't want to mince words here. If somebody's that dangerous and it's almost a certainty, or there's a very high probability that if they get their hands on a firearm, they're going to hurt somebody, they should not be allowed to be on the streets amongst us, okay? Period. End of story, if they're that dangerous. So therefore, all of these background checks, all of these permits, these fees, these mother may I permission slips, they're all unconstitutional. End of story. And what's going on right now? Wake Sheriff suspends pistol permits, okay? Guilford County Sheriff, no more processing of CPLs. Purchase permits through the mail. Right delayed is a right denied. This is why. This is why. So we need to get on the phone, try to stop what's going on right now. But unfortunately, it's never easy for the good guys. Like I've had to say so many times recently, we're going to have to just keep it up. We have to defeat HR 5717. We have to try to destroy this permit process throughout the whole country, so that people can just simply protect themselves and make their own decisions as free beings. See, we're smart people, not the government. We know what's best for ourselves. We know what kind of firearm we need to protect our family, our friends, our neighbors, protect from a potentially tyrannical government. So that's my take on it. The point source problem is they're delaying these rights. Right delayed is a right denied. But the underlying problem is that we've even allowed them to have purchase permits and permission slips and fees, which are again are poll taxes and are highly illegal, okay? Alright guys, take care. More gun videos coming soon. And by the way, I'm putting this video out on March 26th. This is a Thursday, 2020. Hopefully this changes. Hopefully there's an article tomorrow where the sheriff's changed his mind. I don't know. But this is as reported from the local newspaper here in North Carolina, the Wake Weekly. So, alright guys, take it easy. Hopefully everyone's having a good time, the best they can, in their house, hanging out with their kids, their family. Let's try to see the positives in these times we're living in. But we still need to stay vigilant and protect our God-given rights, because if we don't, there's no one else that's going to protect them. The government's not here to help you. They're not your friend. They're only going to take unless we stop them. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.